later on in the newscast.
For now, let's go outside to Mitchell May, who has a sneak peek at this week's weather. Mitch, how's it looking out there?
Just got an update from Mother Nature. Sounds like she got a lot in store for us. Make sure to stay tuned for your 5-day forecast here on Channel 8 News.
This is KKSU-LD, covering Manhattan, Riley County, and the Flint Hills, broadcasting in high definition from Kansas State University. You're watching Channel 8 News.
Welcome to Channel 8 News. I'm Stephanie Peterson.
And I'm Jace Mills. It's like a scene straight out of The Grinch Stole Christmas.
Except this time it's happening right here at K-State. Kansas State band director Dr. Frank Trace discovered a problem when a package he sent never made it to its destination. The package contained T-shirts and CDs for students in Missouri. A few months after the package had shipped, Trace found the box in McCain Auditorium with all of the contents missing.
I'm not on a witch hunt or not looking for anybody to get in any trouble, but you know, it's illegal and you can't do that. It's just wrong, just flat out wrong. You can't do that. So if somebody knows anything, you know, you might want to say something to that person or something, and if you think the behavior still continues, then call somebody.
Are you renting your home or apartment? Does it seem like nothing ever gets fixed?
The Manhattan City Commission recently met to discuss a rental inspection program. Channel 8's Callie Ogborn, has the report.
This is Jeannie. She's a K-State student, and she has experienced depression and anxiety since she moved into her house last August.
I would have appreciated the heads up about the kind of neighbors that I have, or the risks there are to living here, or the fact that nobody ever wants to come over because they're scared of my house. And this year's been a struggle.
Although her rent is cheap, it doesn't make up for the lack of heating, paneless windows, and insect problem.
Over the summer, I would wake up probably 3 days a week with 4 to 5 spider bites on my body.
There are no working smoke detectors, and her upstairs neighbors smoke cigarettes in their apartment with no regard to the no smoking sign. When asked how she felt about her home being inspected every 4 years as opposed to every 1, she said she wouldn't be surprised to see it condemned in the next 4, just like this one and many others just like hers. There were many mixed feelings about this proposed inspection program. A K-State student government member voiced his concern for his fellow students like Jeannie.
Students don't know their rights, so I think that's one of the issues is, can we provide these rights to them? Can we provide assured information? What do you deserve as a renter? And what does safe housing look like for you?
To get the other half of the story, I spoke with a property manager of a busy apartment complex.
So I think that if it's a major issue that they find on their inspection, at least that gives us some time frame to correct what needs to be corrected. We really care about our tenants' satisfaction with our company. We do what we can to get people to want to stay.
If one thing is for certain, it's that people will keep moving in and keep moving out of Manhattan, and they will certainly keep renting. For Channel 8 News, I'm Callie Ogborn.
The City Commission is expected to present a draft rental inspection ordinance in the coming weeks.
Coming up, a K-State professor who doubles as an award-winning Grammy artist.
And later, a military tool turned recreational toy is now in the hands of ordinary citizens. Stay tuned to Channel 8 News.
Land Grant University, entrusted with serving the needs of our communities and world through the nation's most important research and testing. We don't cater to what's popular. We come together to find out what's next, what will save lives and better the world. Since 1863, our values haven't changed, but our methods have. What defines a land-grant university? Community, progress, you.
I'm Ngọc Trân from Đà Lạt, Vietnam.
I'm Raphael from St. Mary's, Kansas.
Mình nói cả tiếng Việt và tiếng Anh.
I only speak one language, unless you count pig Latin. Oh, you don't? Okay, one language.
I'm new to K-State and want to experience everything I can in Manhattan.
I'm hungry. Do you want to go eat some ice cream?
Sure.
Become an international buddy today and develop new friendships and experience different cultures.
How do you say Wabash in your language?
What's a Wabash?
Welcome back to Channel 8 News. There's a new resource for K-State's LGBT on-campus community. K-State is already home to the LGBT and Allies Club, but trans students here on campus feel they need a club of their own. The new Gender Collective Club is for trans and gender non-conforming students at K-State, but the club is open to all.
With the Gender Collective, it's just kind of trying to network gender non-conforming and trans people, and more broadly, kind of queer people on campus, because I don't feel like we really have a central locus, so like a social locus that we can really do that right now.
The Student Governing Association at K-State narrowly passed a bill banning the use of tobacco products on campus. A rare situation occurred after the software program used to count the votes malfunctioned, incorrectly reporting that the bill failed by a 26-24 vote. After a recount, it was determined that the vote was tied, and in cases like this, it was up to the Speaker to break the tie. Speaker Kurt Lockwood voted in favor of the ban, passing the measure.
I voted yes in favor of a complete tobacco and smoking ban, just because I feel like it's the best way our university can move forward, especially seeing other Regent institutions are leaps and bounds ahead of us on this instant. The policy should probably be shifted to a complete ban.
The bill will now move to the desk of President Kirk Schultz, where the final decision regarding the use of tobacco products on campus will be made.
Now we join Channel 8 News reporter Liz Heath in McCain Auditorium to talk to a Grammy Award winner, K-State music professor Brian Pinkel.
I'm here with Dr. Brian Pinkel, a voice professor here at Kansas State University, and he's just won a Grammy for his performance in the album Rachmaninoff. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah. I went to Los Angeles last week, and with the whole crew, there's almost 100 of us, just with family and friends. But we were there for the ceremony and didn't really expect to do as well as we did. We were just happy to be there, and we won Best Choral Performance for our album.
And can you talk through the process of being nominated for a Grammy? What was it like finding out?
Yeah, well, first you have to make an album, and that's actually an extremely long process. We worked very hard on this album, and it's a very famous piece of music, All Night Vespers by Rachmaninoff. And that album was eventually produced and recorded in 2014, and then it took about 8 months to produce it, and it was released in March of 2015 and debuted at #1 on the classical charts, which completely blew us away. We didn't expect that. And then in December, out of the hundreds of classical albums, we were voted in one of the top 5 for Best Choral Performance. And so we were thrilled beyond belief.
And your performance group is the Kansas City Chorale. What's it like performing with a Grammy-winning group like that?
Oh, it's intense. I mean, we're all great people, and we spend a lot of time in this profession and work very hard to make these pieces of music happen proficiently. And so it's a very cutthroat sort of business, but we enjoy the whole experience.
All right, thanks for being with us. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Liz. Invader of privacy or powerful tool? Coming up after this break, Channel 8 reporter Andrew Shores brings us an in-depth look at a drone. Keep it here with Channel 8 News.
What ignites inspiration? It's sparked in every victory, every banner carried high. It's lit in traditions that bind each generation together. It's found in the people who push us to never settle and who serve those without a voice. It's iconic. It's groundbreaking. It's a new generation of world changers and answer seekers. What ignites inspiration? Tradition. Passion. You.
Hi, I'm Tunde from Lagos, Nigeria.
And I'm Ronnie from Spring Hill, Kansas.
During festivals, I wear my kaftan.
On K-State game days, I wear purple and a foam finger.
I've never been to an American football game.
I've never been out of this country. You want to go tailgating this weekend?
Sure.
Become an international buddy today and develop new friendships and experience different cultures.
Would you happen to have a purple kaftan?
Only for game days.
Powerful ideas are sparked by a natural curiosity. It could begin with a single seed or a brilliant ray of light. At Kansas State University, it begins with research that advances the world, where science and creativity meet. At Kansas State University, powerful ideas begin with you.
$400,000 new drones have taken to the sky since Christmas, causing headaches for lawmakers while posing safety hazards to larger aircraft. Andrew Source tells us more about the airborne sensation and how it affects you. Andrew, is there some buzzing out there?
Yes, there is, Jace. I had never seen a drone up close before last week, but it's safe to say I learned a lot. I took to the streets of Manhattan to hear the concern people have about these remote-controlled aircraft.
Yeah, I feel like you should probably be certified to have a drone, and the price point's kind of scary that it's so cheap that anyone could purchase one.
If you're really good at it, you can just fly right beside somebody's window and just start staring into it, and they wouldn't even know it. And then by the time they see it, the drone already took them off.
You know, there's been cases where people have used them for inappropriate uses, like hanging out in front of somebody's window. Yeah, you're in the wrong for that. You shouldn't be peeping in like a peeping Tom.
I think the law ought to apply all the way around. So if you take the picture and she's too young, you get to go to jail.
We've already seen drones make a pretty significant impact on privacy laws. That's mainly happening at the state level. The FAA in particular really does not want to get into the privacy end of things. They're leaving that to local governments.
Getting the perfect shot is always worth it if you're a dedicated hobbyist. Unfortunately, if you're planning on making money of any shots or videos out here at a state park such as Kanza, you're going to need a license.
The 333 exemption is essentially an individual or an organization that is asking for relief from the FAA to fly a drone for commercial purposes.
Commercial area is anything that you get money from. Hobbyist is where you're just taking photos and you're getting stuff that you want, just that you want to keep on your desktop or you want to show your friends sometime.
So I think a lot of people perceive them as developing rules very, very slowly, but I think they're also trying to be very deliberate because they want rules that they don't have to modify year after year after year.
There's a couple areas, especially on the FAA side, that's keeping the industry from moving as fast as a lot of people would like.
We look at them as the bad guys, but at the same time, they're the same people that have to protect the airspace. That's what the government relies on them for. Us as Americans, that's what we rely on them for. You get 400 feet governed to you by the FAA as a recreational activity that to the average person is a lot. But when you put 400 feet on a drone, you're there like in an instant. You're like, oh man, that's high, but that's not that high.
If you're flying as a hobbyist, have fun with it. Don't go over 400 feet. Make sure you know where airports are. Just be safe. Don't be reckless with it. Always think that something bad could happen. Always err on the side of caution, and then you should be fine.
I'm joined here in the studio by Nick Homburg, a documentarian and professor of journalism at Kansas State Manhattan. Nick is currently working on a documentary about drones. Now, Nick, what impact have you seen the FAA laws have on drones, and where do you see the laws going?
Well, right now, currently, the impact that FAA rules have had on drones is as a commercial use. It's a little tough to do anything right now. You have to have 333 exemptions and COAs and a pilot's license to basically operate commercially. However, it looks like in the future, hopefully by 2017, the regulations will be a matter of taking a test, getting an operator's license, and that'll open it up for anybody with an entrepreneurial spirit to go out and use a drone commercially to do documentaries or record newscasts or anything else creative.
What inspired you to begin making a documentary about drones?
I've always been interested in model aircraft and remotely operated vehicles. And being a filmmaker, I was always looking for that new perspective. And I eventually wound up tying a camera to aircraft and rockets and sending them into air. And when I found out about the program here at Salina and the fact that the journalism program at K-State was looking into starting a drone class, it just seemed like a good natural fit. The story kind of needed to be told, so I thought my research is involving drones. I might as well do a documentary and tell the story right.
How do you think drones have changed a journalist or documentarian's ability to tell stories?
Well, the drones are making it possible for us to have a new perspective. You know, we've always been kind of restricted to what we can see from the ground, or we've had to hire a helicopter to get that bird's eye view. With a drone, we can take that into the field with us. Helicopters are extremely expensive, thousands of dollars an hour. A drone for a couple $100, we can get the same type of shots and you know, get that cool perspective.
Well, thank you for joining us on Channel 8 this afternoon, Nick. We'll now
pleasure.
send things back to the anchor desk.
Awesome.
Thanks, Andrew. Seems like it's been good weather for drone flying. Now we turn to our own Mitch May for this week's weather forecast.
Thanks, guys. Let's go ahead and start with our nation's map here. Over on the West Coast, specifically San Francisco and the Bay Area, they're experiencing some pretty nice weather, about 69 degrees, and up north in Seattle, it's about 58 right now. Looking over here in the southern areas, we got Albuquerque experiencing some strange weather. It's 47 right now, but the south, of course, is warming up, and over here in the Kansas City area, we are about 50 degrees. And on the East Coast, it's pretty consistent all the way through up the top. It's 50 degrees there in Pittsburgh, too. And let's look now at our weather conditions. Weather conditions, of course, it's sunny over in California again. But like we were saying about Albuquerque, it's not only cold, they're actually experiencing some snow, rain, and other icy storm conditions. A little bit of stormage over in the south. And looks like some clear weather or clouds, rather, over in the east. Checking out our Kansas map, it's pretty consistent across the whole map here. We have 51 degrees in the Hayes area, 54 about where Wichita is, and 55 here in Manhattan. So let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. Looks like starting on Wednesday, it's been a high of 52 and low of 32, sunny. 47 and a low of 27, or 25 rather, cloudy. And then Friday is going to kick off our weekend with some real nice weather with a high of 60s going into the 70s come Saturday with a little bit of wind, but mostly sunny. So that's it for weather. Thanks, guys, and back to the news desk.
And coming up, Channel 8's James Copeland gives us the rundown of sports in Wildcat Country.
I'm Kathleen from Meiningen, Germany.
I'm Ginger from Overland Park, Kansas.
I've traveled to London and saw the Parliament, studied in Mexico City, spent the summer in Austria, went skiing in the Alps. Oh, and I visited the Eiffel Tower in Paris.
Well, I've been to the world's largest ball of twine.
Can we go?
Of course!
Become an international buddy today and develop new friendships and experience different cultures.
Up next, the world's deepest hand-dug well.
Is it near the Grand Canyon?
Kenya, Africa. A baby elephant is trapped in a waterhole. Researchers rush to the rescue, and a 400-pound baby elephant and its agitated, dangerous mother are finally reunited. One of those researchers is K-State alumnus Mark Sowers. While at K-State, he used telemetry to study bison on the Konza Prairie Biological Station, a skill he now uses to study and help elephants, his lifelong dream. That's the Wildcat way.
I am an artist. I'm an explorer.
A parent.
Working full-time.
I am the future. I'm finishing my bachelor's degree.
Getting my master's.
Becoming professionally certified. I'm a student. I'm on my way.
And I am global.
Kansas State University's global campus is your connection to learn online, develop professionally, and connect globally. Go online for more information about K-State's global campus.
Sports anchor James Copeland joins us now with a recap of the Sunflower Showdown last weekend, plus a look at what's ahead in basketball and baseball here in Wildcat Country. James, over to you.
Thanks, Jace. We had a big week in basketball last week and a big win on the road last Tuesday against TCU 63-49, blowing the Horned Frogs out of the water in Fort Worth. The most anticipated highlight of the weekend was the KU game this Saturday. Enthusiastic fans waited outside Bramlage Coliseum on an unusually warm Saturday afternoon. While spirits were high, the Cats didn't quite live up to the court-storming precedent set last year in their annual matchup. For the first 15 minutes of the game, both teams went back and forth, neither one leading by more than 4 points. And there was some fancy footwork on the court by both teams. Frank Mason had a good game to get the shot, and he was trying to get the basket there and just barely missed it. And it was taken by the court by number 25 Wesley Iwundu and stolen again by the Jayhawks. Wayne Selden passed it back to Mason, and Perry Ellis was able to finally sink the basket in and get it for the Jayhawks. And still in the first half, Mason tried for the goal but was taken by Justin Edwards and across the court, and Barry Brown was able to grab it and sink it in for the Wildcats. And also Perry Ellis got banged up in the second half, having to get 12 stitches during the game, and also took a beating to the eye. Ellis returned to the game with 6 minutes remaining, but a pretty hard one for him. And a few players stood out. That's a great one, making a shot, a 3-point, much appreciated. And also, it was a great night for Stephen Hurt, making a solid 3-point, much appreciated by the crowd. A great night for Hurt there. It just wasn't enough, though, as K-State lost to that night 72-63 to the number 2 KU. And now moving on into last night's game against Texas, K-State lost by 1 point, 71-70. The Wildcats fought to stay in the game throughout the evening, and this was really the last chance for some postseason play for the team. Some impressive dunks by freshman DJ Johnson and a great block by Johnson as well, sandwiched there. Justin Edwards was able to grab the ball and get it in. Edwards set his K-State career with 20 points last night. And a great 3-point shot right there. Really fantastic job. While this disappointing loss was pretty much ruling out any choice of NCAA action, it was still impressive that the Wildcats were able to stand up to such a high-ranked team like Texas. And the Lady Cats are also doing well this season with a 65-53 win last Sunday against the Texas Tech. Junior center Brianna Lewis led with 14 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 steals. Megan Dynas added 11 points plus 4 assists to the stat sheet. And in baseball, the Bat Cats opened up the season earlier this week in sunny Riverside, California. While they were holding their own and showing a strong start to the season with several wins over UC Riverside with a 1-0 win in the first game, a 6-3 loss in the second, a huge 8-1 win in the third, and for the final game they did lose 6-3. Finally, the Wildcats will play again this weekend when they take on Oregon State and surprise Arizona. That's all we have for sports. Let's go ahead and go back to the anchor desk.
Thanks, James. Coming up, fun things to do around Manhattan and highlights from K-State's rodeo. Stay tuned.
Around here, school pride isn't just some slogan on a t-shirt. It's the spirit that comes from understanding we are stronger when we're together. That's the essence of K-State Proud, a nationally recognized student-led fundraising campaign. In just 6 years, K-State Proud has helped raise more than $500,000 to help students who need it most and appreciate it best. Think of it as Philanthropy 101. K-State Proud. It's just one more way the Kansas State family treats one another, well, like family. Where there's a Wildcat, there's a way. Class, study. Class, eat. Play, play, play. Study. Class, chill. Class, eat, study, play, study. Sometimes it seems there just aren't enough hours in the day at our 3 campuses, so you have to make every minute count, especially those precious first few. That's why Kansas State alum Herbert Diamond invented the snooze alarm, a dorm room fixture. Because even when you can't wait to get started, sometimes it's nice to wait to get started. Where there's a Wildcat, there's a way.
Now, we all love to save money, so where can Manhattan residents go without breaking the bank?
Reporter Mitch May gives us a glimpse of the cheap and exciting ways to have fun in the area.
Channel 8 News takes you outside City Hall this week looking for fun things families can do in the springtime here in the Manhattan and Riley County area. Outside of the common hotspots around town that seem to get a lot of action, we wanted to find out what people behind the scenes could tell us about what's happening in Manhattan. City Park Ice Rink is a good stop, but will be closed by the end of this week.
I would definitely encourage people to go check out the ice rink. It's in the northeast corner of City Park in the pavilion area. It is cold in there, so wear a jacket, mittens, hat, and thick socks.
Admission is $3 and an additional $3 to rent skates. But the ice rink is closing soon, and the season is transitioning. We wanted to know what warmer weather opens up for us in Manhattan.
So we have a new park. It's called the Park at Lee Mill Heights. It's on the west end of town, and it's an 80-acre park that we have marked 3 different hiking trails on them now. So when you enter the park, there is a guide that will allow you to choose whichever path you want, or you can do all 3, and it shows you the lengths of the path. It's a little bit more rough terrain, so it is a hike. So I recommend wearing some hiking boots. But go out and check that out. The scenery is beautiful. If you go clear to the top, you can really see a great view of the Flint Hills.
Be sure to tune in next week where we'll find out more hidden treasures that are offered here in Manhattan and maybe how your 10-year-old could plan the next park being built. From Channel 8 News, I'm Mitch May.
Thanks for the heads up on the ice rink, Mitch. We'll make sure to get out there soon.
You know, those trails don't look like a bad way to get some fresh air and enjoy the weather coming up this weekend. Speaking of weather, we'll go into our final weather report from Mitch May.
Thanks, guys. Speaking of weather, we saw it was going to be pretty nice this weekend especially. Maybe get outside, like you said about those trails. Get a little fresh air, maybe a little exercise too, why not? A good way to spend a little more time with your friends and family, and like we said, it's going to be fairly inexpensive if you already own some boots, hiking gear, shorts. Make sure to bring water though, because like we said, temperature's going to be a little higher and probably not used to it.
It's going to be a nice weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Tune into MHK all day tomorrow for more local news from Manhattan, Riley County, and the Flint Hills.
We'll see you next week on Channel 8 News.
This is Channel 8 News.